Are you new to budgeting but don't know quite where to start? Are you that person that every year you're like, okay, this year I'm going to do it, but you back off from doing it and starting because you just get scared because it seems so overwhelming and you just don't know how to start? Well, don't worry. In today's video, I have the ultimate starter budgeting kit for you. We're going to break down today not only how to get started, why you should get started, but also we're going to look at your first budget binder, how to set it up, and what that means for you moving forward to be consistent. So if anyone's watching that are seasoned budgeters, you've been doing this for a while, do me a favor and drop in the comments down below. Let's give our new budgeters some words of encouragement, some advice. What helped you get started when you first got started? Because believe me, for everyone, it's always very overwhelming when you're first starting. But once you get the hang of it, it's the best decision you've ever made. So if you're ready to get into this ultimate budgeting starter kit for the new year, keep watching right now. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Chris. I talk about all things budgeting, cash stuffing, and just getting you set up for your financial goals to get you on your way to financial freedom. And I thought this would be a great video to kickstart the new year because I know, again, that feeling of you want to get started. You have all of these tools that you purchase, but what do you do with them and how do you move forward? So I think it's very important before we get into our budgeting startup kit, why we budget in the first place. If you're going to do this journey, it's very important for you to understand why you're doing the journey. You're going to have to start off with, do you have the money to cash stuff and do all the things that you're wanting to do? And if you don't have it, analyzing a budget every paycheck or monthly will help you determine how you can get there to do the cash stuffing. I always tell everyone that's the most important piece. You can't just cash stuff because you want to cash stuff. You have to make sure you have the money to be able to allocate to cash stuff. Once you're able to set up your budget and break down where your money is going, you're going to see those results. You're going to see how it's going to help you reduce your debt, be able to save more money than you ever have before, be able to save for the things that you want and be in control of your money. So I created this fun budgeting startup kit to help you on your journey so you don't have to feel afraid or overwhelmed. And let's get into step one, which is the most important step. You got to choose a budgeting method. So like with all things that we start, we need to do a little research to figure out what's the best method for us. And the same thing applies for budgeting. And there are two methods that we use in our community, and that is the cash stuffing method or the digital method, or there is a third option. You can use a little bit of both. And let me break down for you what that means. A lot of you are familiar with the cash stuffing method where you've seen people, they've taken cash, they're cash stuffing them into envelopes to help them save money because if they use cash, they feel like it helps them get a better grip on their spending. But did you know there's also a large community of digital budgeters where they use spreadsheets? They keep everything in the bank. They can have their categories set up just like cash budgeters do with their envelopes. They can have their categories set up online with their banking system, and they can use spreadsheets and apps to keep up with how they save their money. But then there's a third option, and I'm one of these people that fall into the third option. I like to use a little bit of both. I have some categories that I cash stuff, and I have some categories that I just leave in the bank because it's easier. Both systems take a lot of work. They both require consistency. So let me break it down for you. With both systems, you got to budget. You got to set up a paycheck budget. You got to set up a monthly budget to know where the money is coming from. With cash budgeting, you got to be consistent. You got to go to the bank or the ATM. You got to pull the money out. You got to get change. You got to cash stuff it. You got to make sure you're not keeping too much money in your envelopes. There's a lot of things you got to work with. With digital budgeting, you got to make sure you stay on track of your finances. You got to make sure you do those line items. Don't forget to, subtract anything that you spent. You got to make sure you're keeping your spreadsheets up to date. So they both require a little bit of work, but you got to do the one that you feel will best suit your needs. They're both great budgeting methods. Now, if you do decide to go with the cash budgeting system, let's get into step number 2, and let's talk about that beginning budget binder and what that should look like for you. When you're ready to set up your binder system, there's some key things that I need everyone to understand when you're first getting started. Start small. Where it can be overwhelming is you think you need several binders, several setups, several all of the things because that's what you've seen, and that's actually not true. When you're first starting, you want to start small. I remember when I started, and I still have these items to this day, and I will probably always keep them and cherish them because this is how I started on my budgeting journey. What I did was I used a notebook to track down everything. What I was cash stuffing, my saving challenges, everything went into this notebook. And then I used a coupon holder to cash stuff my money. No lie. And this was the best system because this coupon holder can actually hold a lot of money. So to get started, if you want to use a binder, this is what you'll need. You just need a nice, dependable binder that's sturdy enough to hold your envelopes. So we have our binder here. You need some envelopes with labels for the categories that you want to cash stuff. So I have some envelopes here for that. You need a budget worksheet, and this budget worksheet is going to help you break down your paychecks or your income and where you're going to cash stuff this money. Okay, let's put all that here. You will definitely need a pen so you can track your budget and your expenses. I love to have highlighters so that I can go through when I'm tracking my expenses. I can use my highlighters to track those expenses. Now that I have all the things that I need to get started on my journey, I think this is the part where a lot of us get stuck. I think a lot of us, we focus on the things that we need or we think we need, and we can't move past this part. So if you're a new budgeter, have you ever found yourself getting all of the pretty items and everything is gorgeous and you're just buying stuff? You're like, okay, yes, I need those envelopes. Yes, I need that binder. Yes, I need to make sure I get this, make sure I get that. And before you know it, you have all of this stuff, but you forgot the main thing. How am I going to put it together? So this is the part where we want to make sure we categorize the things that we've purchased. So for instance, those envelopes that we have, we want to make sure we have the right categories that's going to help us be successful. The right categories are determined from the budget. So once you do your budget and you realize how much money you have left over, this will help you determine where you're going to cash stuff that money. Okay, that makes sense. So you want to start off with just a few categories, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. I think when I started, I maybe had 10 categories. You know, I had utilities, or I had car maintenance or medical. Start off with those few categories that you want to save money towards. Okay. And you also want to look at those variable expenses. Maybe you want to put aside money for groceries or for gas and have that come out so you're not swiping your card a lot. So the most important thing is to pick a few categories and then make sure you categorize them in a way that makes sense for you. Okay. And even if you get a binder system like this one here, the key thing is, and it is motivating to have, you know, nice items to make it look pretty. So go ahead and get your system set up in a way that's going to work best for you. And if you need any help on getting your system set up, I offer all of these tools in my shop. You can get this entire system, including the binder, the pens, the envelopes, the labels, all of this stuff for as little as $20 to help you get started. But remember, do not complicate it. The main goal is to help you get out of debt or learn how to save money or whatever that is, and not to cause yourself more work because you're just adding all these things that you don't really need. Before we get into step number 3, I hope you're liking this video. If so, make sure you hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss videos like this. And while I have you here, I want you to drop down, if you are new to budgeting, I want you to drop that down in the comments if you're new to budgeting and what are your expectations with starting this journey. And while you're writing that, let's go ahead and get into step 3 of this starter budgeting kit. Step number 3 when you're getting started, let's talk about savings challenges. I'm just going to leave this here because it's so adorable. Savings challenges is a great way to help you with your journey. But the same thing applies with savings challenges as it does when it comes to our budgeting setup and the tools that we need to help us to be successful. So when you're first getting started with a savings challenge, start off with something small. Start off with the dollar savings challenge. I have a dollar savings challenge that not only is a small challenge, but it's a fun challenge to do where you're saving your dollar bills. Another one, the first one I started with was the 52-week challenge. So start off small when you're doing your saving challenges because they are motivating. They can help you reach your bigger goal. So you can use like the 52-week savings challenge to help put that money towards an emergency fund or a debt to pay off or whatever it is you need. But just make sure that you start with 1 or 2, but nothing too outrageous that's going to, overwhelm you and take you off your path from motivating you to keep going. And lastly, step number 4 is very important as you are starting your budgeting journey. And that is, you've got to create a strategy for success. You've got to create a strategy on why you're doing this and what you're hoping to accomplish. And I think many times people may fail at trying the system is because you don't have a strategy in place. So for instance, I'll use myself for an example. One of my strategies last year was to get 10K in my emergency fund. That was the strategy. And what I did was I took different challenges or different methods to help me get there throughout the year. So I did things like I cash stuff savings challenges once a month. Or I did no sinking fund months, where 1 month out of the quarter, I wouldn't cash stuff my sinking funds and I would use it towards savings challenges. So creating a strategy will help you be successful along your budgeting journey. So many times we focus on just the cash stuffing part, but not what the goal is. Why are you cash stuffing? Are you just cash stuffing the cash stuff? What is the purpose for that money? So set yourself up a strategy. Get a notebook. Write down your goals and what you hope to achieve. Write down a timeline. I want to achieve this by this time, because that will help you determine how much money to put into that category to help you get there. And along those lines, remember to track your progress. Check in every month or quarter or, every 6 months to make sure you're still on the right track. Make sure that, did you change something up? Okay, make sure you write that down. What did I change up and why? Look and see if what you're doing is working for you. Maybe you're not able to cash stuff this challenge because it's too high. Maybe you need to bring down the amount a little bit. And that's one of the reasons we can fail using this system, is because we're not tracking while we're doing it. Same thing with our digital budgeters. If you choose to use digital budgeting or digital cash stuffing, you got to make sure you're tracking stuff. Just because it's digital, you got to make sure you're moving money where it goes. You got to make sure you're moving it out of this account so something else doesn't come in. You got to make sure if you had to pay for something, you subtracted it. So it's all about tracking your progress and keeping up with what you're spending so you can be successful when you do this system. And just remember, when you're starting out, it's all about, progress, not perfection. When you first start out, you're not going to be perfect at this. You're a beginner. But if you stay consistent and you track your progress, I guarantee you'll be on your way to success and you're going to do great at it. So let's recap really quickly our 4 tips for our starter budgeting kit for our new beginners for the new year. So step number 1, you got to choose a budgeting method. Which budgeting method is going to work best for you? If you do decide to go with the cash budgeting method, step number 2, you want to make sure you have a nice budgeting system to help you along the way that's affordable and you're not breaking the bank or buying a lot of things to overwhelm you on this journey. Step number 3 is start off with a savings challenge, but start small. Start off with a savings challenge, 1 or 2, that's going to help you reach those goals that you're setting out to reach. And then step number 4 in the starter budgeting kit, make sure you're creating a strategy. Make sure you're setting goals. What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? If you keep reminding yourself of that every day, you will be consistent and you will be successful on this journey. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss videos like this. I do upload videos every Sunday, and I also go live every Saturday morning if you just want to come over and join me where we talk live about various budgeting topics. You will enjoy it. And with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Happy New Year!